Amber, Michael, Blue Eye Samurai is a masterpiece. I love this show. The animation's gorgeous. The characters have so much depth. It got to a point where I almost forgot I was watching an animation at all. And for anybody that likes Kill Bill, Warrior, or Game of Thrones, this is right up your alley. Amber, how did this show come about?
You know, it only took 15 years.
Just 15 years.
The short answer is we had a baby. Much to my surprise, she had blue eyes. We started calling her our little Blue Eye Samurai, and we're like, wait, that's a great idea. But a lot of it, came from just my mixed race background, just, kind of feeling stuck between two worlds and deciding what if we put those feelings into a world in Japan where the borders were closed, where it was so homogenous, and that era is still heralded as the golden age of Japan, the golden age where nobody was allowed in who looked different, and what that must have felt like. And just like, let's make a good story out of that.
Absolutely. I'm totally identified with character Mizu. I am also of mixed race, half Asian origin. So this completely hit home for me. Michael, I've never seen anything like this show ever. Can you describe Blue Eye Samurai visually?
When you said in your introduction to it that you forgot you were watching animation, that was our goal. I mean, yes, we wanted to make sure that our artists felt completely off leash to make the most beautiful possible version they could, that everything about this was going to be really bespoke. But what we said is, if we do all that right and we make these characters both on the page but in their design feel real and feel different, that people might have the experience of just kind of forgetting that they were watching and have a high degree of attachment as if they were watching movie stars playing these roles. Not just movie stars voicing these roles. So that was really it. Like, everything about it was a live action aesthetic. We come out of live action. Our supervising director, Jane Wu, has an animation background, but has been working as a storyboard artist in live action, in the highest levels of live action in Marvel and Game of Thrones, on and on and on. And so we wanted to take as much of the lessons of our background and apply it to animation, and hopefully to come up with something that really, every show says they want to do something different. We might have accidentally done that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. As soon as I started watching the show, I was completely in, and I could not turn it off. Amber, Maya Erskine, George Takei, Masayoko, Ming-Na Wen, Brenda Song, Randall Park, Kenneth Branagh, Stephanie Hsu, Mark Dacascos, Harry Shim Jr., and the list goes on and on. Can you talk about bringing this fantastic cast together for Blue Eye Samurai and the importance of representation in the casting?
Definitely. I would like to say that it was so hard to bring these people together that we worked night and day, wooing them and sending them flowers, doing promposals at their front door. But really, they were all so excited. They all just said yes. It took nothing. And I think it was because of the Asian representation. We made it clear to them, our casting directors, Marjorie Simpkin and Orly Sidowitz, they went to these people and asked them, and they just said yes, because people wanted to get involved with something that was telling a story that was so, about Asian culture, and just be a part of that. I mean, it hasn't been done so many times. So we're very fortunate to have the talents of all of these amazing people.
Incredible. Michael, when this series starts off, it feels like a Clint Eastwood Western in the East. What were some of the cinematic inspirations you guys drew from for Blue Samurai while crafting the series?
Oh, so many. And thank you. Yes, we talked about Clint Eastwood and, both in how we were going to introduce the character, the man with no name, Good, Bad, the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West was a major touchstone. But also when we spoke to Maya Erskine about building her performance, that, Mizu is literally the man with no name in the first episode. She does not get called Mizu until later. And we wanted the audience to have that experience of treating a mixed race woman as a Clint Eastwood type strong silent male character. We had so many influences. I mean, the first time we met Jane Wu, our supervising director, and nerded out about oh my God, you love Zatoichi. And we talked about, Lone Wolf and Cub. I mean, this was an excuse to go deep and buy the entire series and read through them. Obviously Kurosawa movies, but then also Mizoguchi, Lady Snowblood, Onibaba, Kuroneko by Shindo, which we loved so much that we actually named the character Heiji Shindo and Shindo Dojo. So you can Easter egg our influences shots borrowed from great films, if we end up getting compared
or songs borrowed,
the
Kill
from
Bill
Kill Bill
reference.
If people say they stole from Harakiri, we'll be like, thank you. Yes, please. Yes, accuse us of stealing from geniuses.
Amber, the animation style. Oh my goodness, I have never seen anything like this. It was like these beautiful, like painted brushstrokes, but mixed together with this 3D animation. I want to say this is not an anime. This is an adult animation. Can you talk about the animation style and collaborating with Blue Spirit Studios on the challenges of bringing Blue Eye Samurai to life?
Well, definitely we wanted the show to look like something nobody had ever seen before. We said from the beginning, this is not going to be anime. You know, we all love anime, but we need it to be different. We need to expand our audience. We need everyone to know that this is not just for anime lovers. This is for a whole new audience. So we had to work to find that right balance and that right style. And we worked, with our supervising director, Jane Wu, and with the talents of many, many other people and the collaboration of Blue Spirit to find the right balance within our guidelines that we were provided. And, I think it worked out.
Our production designer, Toby Wilson, came at it. We have to give him props. Comes at it with so much passion. I mean, everyone did. Our character designer, Brian Kessinger, one of our supervising animators, Mike Greenhold, like these people would work with Blue Spirit day in, day out to make sure the details were just right, that the emotions on the face were clear. And then, of course, that the movements were right, that Japanese women were walking, if they were meant to be a proper Japanese woman, they walk a certain way, that feet go a certain, like we had to get the in-toe just right.
The kimono sleeves.
The endless the endless conversations that kimonos are not bathrobes, but have an internal structure and layering. And, it's just everyone cared so much. And Blue Spirit was just game.
Yeah, I mean, there was almost times where I thought it was like rotoscope because the way the camera moved and everything flowed so smoothly. I was blown away by the animation.
Previs, but not rotoscope. I mean, we used camera lensing in Previs and a lot of the vocabulary of building live action film. But yeah, no, it went. That's a great compliment. Thank you.
It was incredible. Michael, I do want to ask about Jane Wu because she is incredible. She's was the supervising director on this and producer for Blue Eye Samurai. She worked as a story artist on projects you had mentioned, The Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Mulan, and Game of Thrones. She's also directed animation before. How did you guys get her back into animation? And can you talk about working with her to find the right tone for Blue Eye Samurai?
Yeah, I mean, it was when Netflix, read the script and, had bought it and read it. And they basically said, we want to pick this up, but it takes a director for us to be able to say yes. We said, great. We know directors in live action. We don't know animation people. We need to figure out who to talk to together. And, then the head of animation we were working with, Mike Moon, said, I'm going to introduce you to Jane Wu. And we said, it's a true story. We said, great, but we like options. Who else should we meet? And he said, you're going to meet Jane Wu. Because A, there's no one else with that background, and B, you're going to love her. And he was right. We were instantly like, the three legs of a stool is what we said, although stool is probably the wrong word to describe art. But we were just instantly tonally aligned. We talked about our favorite references. We looked at pictures, of images that we could see being influential for concept art. And then it was also just joining hands with her and saying, we're not going to take a dive and go from concept art to something completely different. We're going to make sure it continues to look like that. She said, those brushstrokes we see, those stay. And we're like, yeah, so now we're family.
Incredible. Amber, I want to talk about one of the amazing characters we meet in this series. Maya Erskine plays Mizu. What makes Mizu so unique and relatable? And what made Maya the perfect choice to play Mizu?
Mizu, everybody will relate to Mizu as somebody who's felt marginalized, who's felt just that need to seek revenge or to seek wholeness for herself. And Maya Erskine, in Pen 15, we fell in love with her. I don't know if you haven't seen Pen 15, you should. It's comedy, but there's such a sadness to the comedy in Maya's character, and that you see there's the sadness of her just grappling with her mixed race identity. And we knew that, Maya could bring that to this character, and she did in spades and brought such depth to Mizu. And because we want to root for Mizu's quest for revenge, but we also want to root for Mizu kind of finding some self-acceptance to kind of like maybe not need to kill so many people because she's so angry. Maybe she can have some friends, you know, maybe she can open herself up a little bit. And that's ultimately, we needed to bring some more warmth and humanity to Mizu to over time, that she's not just a killing machine.
Speaking of that, Michael, can you talk about Mizu's bond with Ringo, played by Masaoka?
You know, it's funny when you were just saying that, I was thinking like, oh my God, we kind of made her a little like Batman, you know, where it's like,
yes,
think of Batman, you know, he's so driven. It's like, I experienced this trauma and I will metastasize that into hyperviolence. But one of the most charming things you can do to Batman is give him accidental partners. Eventually, Batman is at his best when he's tempered with a Robin, who I think we might have called Ringo. But obviously very different characters. I think, wait a second. The analogy breaks down pretty quickly. And I can't. The honest truth is, we've never actually discussed that. That was just the we knew that, you know, the fun of a character is so driven. The most fun you can have is poke them. Right. Because they just don't have like, stop trying to make me enjoy things, you know. And along comes someone who is marginalized in his own way, who is looked down as other. He is disabled. He's born without hands, but he is in kind of an irrepressibly sunny way that I think Masaoka very much is in his life. Wouldn't let that take him down. He felt, you know, I'm born without hands. I'll make some tools. I'm still a great chef. I can still make things work. But he knows how people look at him. So when he sees Mizu, thinking Mizu is a man who is badass, but is also looked down as very much other, if not disabled, in their community, he sees a hero instantly. Oh my God, you are everything I want to be. Teach me to be like you. And then Mizu can go, no, please keep 10-foot distance. I have no time or patience for you. For that character to worm his way into her life by her side it was just joy. It was joy to write. Those scenes came easy and made us laugh.
Now, last question I do have for you guys is, I know that animation takes a long time, so please tell me you're already working on season 2. But honestly, I know that how long have you plotted ahead, and how many seasons would you like to tell this story in?
We have a lot of stories in our hearts that we're just waiting. We're just waiting to make. We are not working on a season 2. We're waiting for season 1 to premiere and see how successful it's going to be. And so we need everybody to watch it.
Yep.
Starting November 3rd, and then there will be a season 2.
Yes, which we have. It is plotted out. Season 2 has an approved outline, and we in our heart of hearts, we want to tell at least 3-4 seasons. We know the end of this story. We would love to continue. We know the spin-offs. A spin-off
series for like Ringo.
We know exactly where this goes in the future. We're just hoping that the audience for original content shows up and necessitates further storytelling.
Well, I will be shouting about this show on the mountaintops because it is absolutely incredible. Blue Eye Samurai, fantastic show. I can't wait for people to see this, and I can't wait for you guys to announce season 2. I need it already. Thank you guys so much for your time. Honestly, the show is fantastic. Thank you so much.
That's really nice to meet you.
Take care.